Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 328. It's like, wait, that's not right. I'll try that again. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 328 of the Drunk Casters podcast. I'm your host always as can't talk. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 328 of the Drunk Casters podcast. I'm your host always, I'm Tyler, and joining me with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Tyler. Man, I'll tell you what. After this hectic work week, I am just so glad that I just have a couple days off in order to enjoy some bit more games on my Nintendo Switch. Honestly, I've been doing all right. I just feel kind of remotely tired because a lot of the strain, a lot of stuff, and it just kind of feels weird having kind of a moment of bliss where it's like I don't have anybody asking for anything or coming to me because something is on fire or whatever.
Yeah. I hate doing that shit.
Oh man, but I'm just gonna be happy come the next couple weeks because Mario Maker 2 releases, and I am waiting for Bloodstained Ritual of the Night in the mail because I bought it yesterday evening, and it's going to be coming around that 4th of July week, and so that's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, 4th of July is a couple weeks away. Sweet, 4-day weekend. All right.
Yeah. Well, 4-day weekend for you, 3-day weekend for me, so it's it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, it kind of sucks because we have to 4th of July is on a Thursday. They're closing the plant down, but we have to use vacation for it. So it's not really like a paid holiday. So whatever.
Oh man, but having to use vacation on that. Oh.
Yeah, we have a few days like that a year.
I see.
Yeah, but
How have you been doing?
Oh man, tired, very tired. Not a lot of sleep the last week. It's since Courtney started working second shift, just been trying to balance work life with personal life, and then Courtney life, everything like that. So it's just been a lot, but I'm doing okay. Otherwise, just tired. I'm with you. We have a couple days off. I'm looking forward to it. I picked up. I talked about. I got Cadence of Hyrule and my best friend Pedro or best friend. What the fuck's that guy? I always forget the damn name of that game. The one with the banana and the slow motion shooter game on the Switch.
Oh my
gosh. Best friend Pedro?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
I always forget what it's called, but that came out Thursday. I've yet to play it. But I've been hearing a lot of buzz lately about this game called Outer Wilds, I believe is what it is.
Yeah.
That's what I've been hearing about for a while now, and I've just been and I didn't realize, I'm I'll check that out eventually. It's because it sounds like it's kind of my game. Kind of find out it's on Game Pass this whole time. So I downloaded that today, so now I have fucking even more games to play than I already did before. But I did knock one game off my list that I had my backlog of games I want to play, but not in a good way. I knocked off my list. And I guess we'll just use that to segue into what we've been playing. Rage 2, Gables. I don't remember. It's been a couple weeks since we did a normal show with all the E3 stuff last week. By the way, thank you guys for downloading all those shows. We are quickly going to be, this probably will be our best month ever at the rate we're going as far as downloads go. Yeah. So really appreciate it. Keep them coming. Please keep telling friends. So yeah, that's great. And we it's funny because we even did less of E3 podcasts than we normally do. I usually do 7 or 8. I think we did 4. So
I think it was a little bit more digestible for people,
Mm-hmm.
Well, that way, a lot of them weren't exactly long. I mean, some were just kind of the span of say a video you would watch on YouTube, 15 to about 30 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's perfect, especially for when you're doing E3. There's so much stuff to cover. Makes it easier to break it down. If you find the things you want to listen to. So, really appreciate all those. That's great. That's great to see. But yeah, so anyways, Rage 2, I played that a little bit more over my I had that 4-day weekend or 6-day weekend last week, and dabble a little bit more. And I was talking to Justin about it, and I talked to people at work about it too, and I'm trouble remembering what I talked about on the show and what I talked about like with people. So I'm just gonna quickly cover over everything real fast. But I mentioned like the first one I talked about, I only played a couple hours, but I liked what I played. But in case this part I didn't talk about, I'm just gonna cover it real fast. But the world is very boring. It's called a wasteland, and it feels like a wasteland, which is, it makes sense for the game, but it's not fun to do. There's everything you do in the wasteland just feels pointless. There's no leveling mechanics, so it's not like you have a skill tree, but there's no leveling, so you don't get experience points. So doing anything outside of missions and taking over like points is just, there's no point to it. There isn't, like, do you see like people fighting out on the side of the road? There's no point in fighting them unless you can pick. You can take some. They drop some stuff, and you can use it to like level up your gear, but it's very small amounts, and you have to get out of the vehicle to actually pick the stuff up, which is just it's a minor inconvenience. But if you want to keep doing it as much as you see it, it's just kind of, it becomes an annoying hassle, and getting like everywhere is just, it's not fun. So, and that turned into like the actual gameplay combat, like shooting combat is fantastic. I love it. It's just Doom and Wolfenstein, but in more open corridors where Doom and Wolfenstein are like, you're in small like hallways for the most part. Very little are you like in big massive areas, and that part's great. But it's just so few and far between. Like, I would say I played about 6-7 hours, I want to say, and a few of those hours was that, and the rest was driving around, dealing with just. I would say about 3 of those hours of driving around, and another hour of just talking to people, stuff like that. Which the characters are interesting. I like the characters. The story is interesting. I just, getting places is completely ruined that game for me, and it sucks because I love playing that game. Like this is a great game that was turned into. We've seen this happen. Like, I know Rage 1 was an open world game as well, but you see this in games where like, this should not be an open world game, and we see that a lot last generation. Like, this is a really good 15-hour, or this is a really good 5-10 hour game there, but they started stretching it to a 15, 20, 30-hour game by making it open world and adding all this extra content. And that's what this game feels like to me. It just feels like, and that was, I heard a complaint a little bit in the last game. Like, I did some of the driving, like there's racing and stuff like that you can do. It's not that fun. It's just, it's a generic racer. It's not Mario Kart. It's not Forza. It's not anything fantastic. It's just like this. Just feels like a thing you have to do to like progress certain parts of the game. I don't know. It sucks because I really like the two of the biggest components: the story, the character, story, characters, whatever, if you want to combine it into one, and then the actual gameplay is fantastic. It's just everything you do in between those moments is boring as hell. And when you are, I don't have the time, obviously, like I used to play games. And I got an hour, I got a couple hours every day to really sit down and play games, and that wasting it on that for basically a week of my gameplay time, kind of sucked. So I decided, like, and I was telling someone at work, I'm like, if I was still single and I just played games like I used to, I would have forced my way through this game, and maybe things would change later in the game, but.
Right.
As things have progressed in my life, I start to see more and more from people. Like, you always hear like people talk about, I'm not gonna, and even I talk about, like, I don't want to play 20-30 hour game, but it's like when time is like gaming time is more valuable. Like you talk, people have kids and wives and blah blah blah, and it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna waste my time on a game that's a 7 out of 10. And this game is definitely like a 6-7 out of 10, which is what which is what the reviews say, and I was still hoping that there was enough good in there to keep me playing it. But it's just like, I'm not wasting my time on a game that, like, at this point in my life, I'm not going to waste my time on something like this. And it sucks because like I said, there's a lot of parts in this game I like, but it's not worth the investment to me at this point. So now I'm in like a weird spot where, like, I don't know what to play now. Like, I'm like, should I jump into like some of these Switch games I picked up? Should I play Outer Wilds? Metro Exodus, which is like my most anticipated game of the year. I have that to play. I should probably just jump into that, really.
You should. I mean, hell.
Yeah. But then it's like, fuck, Mario Maker comes out next week. I'm like, god damn. So, and then a few weeks after that, we have Wolfenstein Youngblood. I'm like, god damn. And then Madden, god damn. So fuck. There's no breaks. There's no breaks, Gables.
No. Of course not. With what was like a summer drought now is actually starting to become a little bit more attractive in terms of game releases this year. It seems.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely slowing down. It's not as crazy as the first few months were of the year, but yeah, it's still a lot, especially with the backlog I have going on, and I'm only adding shit to it. But yeah, like I said, I'm in this spot where like I've been trying to decide what to play next, and so I've been like watching TV shows instead of playing games because I don't know what to do. But I can't decide what to play, so I'm like, fuck it, I'll watch. So I got stuck watching Chernobyl, the HBO show.
Oh, I see.
Oh, it's so good, guys. I'm fascinated. What were you saying, Gables?
Let me guess. Was this the thing that happened in 1984? That whole Chernobyl like incident?
Yeah, 1986.
Power plant.
Yep.
86.
Yep.
Yeah.
In Ukraine. Yeah. I mean, I've always been fascinated by that. Like, I've watched multiple documentaries and YouTube videos about all the stuff that goes on with that.
Dude.
And so
that's just crazy, you know, like a nuclear power plant that like it goes off and stuff, and that one place has not been touched since literally like the mid 80s.
Well, there's actually like a cafe there, nearby
Okay.
there. Like, there's people that still work there to this day, to build the I believe it's called the sarcophagus. And so we're gonna go on a little bit of tangent here about the Chernobyl. Like, I'm not like an expert at all. Like, I just watch a lot of stuff about it over the years, and so like they built the thing like really fast, and it only was supposed to last like 10 years, like to cover it up. It's like 'cause they can't stop it. It's just there. And it's gonna be thousands of years before we can do anything with it. For it's oops, I hit my mic. But they built this sarcophagus over it to kind of hold all of the waste in. But it's slowly like eroding away that sarcophagus. So they built another one, a bigger one that's supposed to last 100 years.
Okay.
But yeah, it's crazy to read about. Like, there's a cafe there now, like people that work there, like, and it's actually like in certain areas around Chernobyl, like you can actually like it's not good, it's not great to live there, but it's not like awful to live there either. Like they said, like being there for a day is like basically getting an X-ray at the doctor's office. Like, that's how much. That you're going to take in, which isn't a lot. It's a very small amount. I mean, getting it every day might be great for you, but like I said, there's a cafe there that people that work there, and like it's insane. Like, when you're reading and watching about, like, then there's like to work on the roof of the place. People are only allowed to be there for 5 minutes a day.
Oh,
so they have like a
that
line
sounds
of people that have to like go in there, work on the roof to like kind of close it up, and they go in there for 5 minutes, have to get the fuck out, and then the next guy goes in. Keeps going, and that's how they get work done. Because any longer, you can die, or cause crazy health issues. So yeah, I've been watching that. It's like a little mini series on HBO. So I've only watched the first few episodes, but that's been like my week, is watching the show, and then also like, oh, that's so fascinating. And then so I've been watching like documentaries about that, and then also and shit on YouTube. I'm fascinated by that. And then there's the one in Japan that happened in like 2011, Fukushima. Thank you. That's really fascinating too, about what they had to do to like, and it's actually like, it's gonna be a lot. It's not as nearly as bad as Chernobyl, but it's crazy to hear about that stuff. Like, I just find that stuff fascinating. So yeah, I don't know why we're talking about that on our video game podcast, but that's what I've been doing.
It's a slow news week, everyone.
It's a very slow news week, and I haven't played a lot of games. I've been really busy still this week. But yeah, it's been a while. I've been up to, Gables. What have you been playing?
Well, let's see. Like about a week ago, I had a hankering to play something on my Switch, and so what I did is I went to Walmart. They just redid their electronics section, and so they have all their games. Conveniently now they have them like open, like their cases open before they had to finish their like remodeling of their store. And so I was able to pick up Captain Toad Treasure Tracker for the Switch. So I picked it up.
Yes.
And I started playing it, throughout the week. I went through episode 1 completely. I actually collected everything from all 3 of those diamonds, got the Pixel Toad, everything. And, I got to the end of it, then all of a sudden it's like I go to episode 2, and, I decided, let's play a little bit further with this. So I go through episode 2, I went through the entirety of that, collected everything, and now, currently, I'm at level 4 of episode 3. And man, I gotta say, it's like the puzzle stuff. They start out like nice and easy, and all of a sudden it kind of escalated itself until now it feels like I'm being fairly challenged with episode 3 with some of the content. It's like the first level you get at episode 3, it's like you have to face off, you have to try to avoid these lava dragons while you're collecting everything, and it's like, ooh, okay, how am I gonna solve this puzzle with these dragons jumping up and down everywhere and like freaking rotating wheel platforms, and it's like, okay. But I gotta admit, man, the gameplay is so good. I played some on the Wii U. I finished episode 1 and thought that was the ending of the game. But man, I really am enjoying Captain Toad, honestly. It didn't for like a $30 game on the Switch, I mean, it's fascinating how much content, how much enjoyment you can actually get out of it. I went through and I actually wanted to collect everything inside of it. I also wanted to see where the little Pixel Toad characters are coming from, like where they are at in each map. And they can get pretty mischievous in terms of like disguises and stuff. Maybe one will be inside of a block, maybe the other one will be behind a poster, or there was one that I had to use YouTube on because I could not find it for the life of me. Mm-hmm. And it was in episode 2, there was a level with involving these like ghosts inside this sort of like haunted mansion where I kept hearing where Pixel Toad was, but I could not find him, and I was on this platform, and it took me having to go to YouTube where the dude literally was just like clicking around that particular dark spot where you can't see anything, and he ends up finding it. I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious right now? He's inside the entire dark of this platform. But other than that, though, it's been a relatively fun experience playing through it. I mean, the level design is fantastic. The puzzles start off easy, but they start becoming challenging towards the end part of the game. I like the little switch in between Toad and Toadette from episode 1 and episode 2. Because that kind of felt a little bit more refreshing, where I'm not constantly with Captain Toad. So it was kind of cool to kind of get like a different perspective of things, where it was just kind of the opposite, where you have Captain Toad trying to rescue Toadette and stuff, and all of a sudden it's like Toadette has to try to rescue Captain Toad. And then you're going back to the same things again. But, yeah, the puzzle design is just fantastic, honestly. I mean, you're going to have some that require you to move different blocks and stuff with like the gamepad, or if you played most of this game docked, which that's what I did. I played through the entirety of episode 1 and 2 docked. You basically have to hold the ZR button to move certain things, and like you have to try to use a little bit more of the analog sticks, to try to make do from the Wii U's gamepad-esque type of control that you would use. I kind of liked how they had that option right there, but when I took it undocked and started playing it last night, some of the newer levels, it was like, okay, I had to adjust a little bit because I had to realize, oh, I gotta touch the screen here, here, in order for me to try to get this stuff going. And it was hilarious though, because it's like I was just turning around the camera on this one course, and then I started dying like a couple of different times because I kept missing these platform jumps. not platform jumps, but I just kept missing. I kept missing going through like the stage because I end up going towards a cliff, and then all of a sudden it's like I try to turn the camera angle to one end, and all of a sudden I think I'm going through the other way, but I go too far, and then I drop down a pit. It's just little stupid things like that have popped up here and there, but it hasn't really deterred my enjoyment. I mean, hell, that was actually the first legitimate level in like in episode 3 in like a long while where it's like, hey, I was actually dying consistently, it was actually starting to get more challenging for me. And yeah, I welcomed that. But man, I gotta admit, that game is pretty damn awesome. I mean, I played a bit of it on the Wii U. I'm enjoying it even more on the Switch. And down the road, I'm probably going to go forth and download the DLC for it, because that is enjoyable. That is probably one of the best games on the Switch.
I forgot about the DLC. Oh, man. I told you, Gables. I've been saying it for years. Nobody wants to listen to me. I'm the crazy guy over here talking about how great Captain Toad is. It's one of the best Wii U games. I'm the crazy guy. I think Mario and Rabbids is the best Switch game ever made. That's me. But I'm right. and y'all fuckers know it. Zelda Breath of the Wild is the 6th best game of 2017. Bam. Still think that to this day. 3rd best Switch game. Bam. I said it.
Let me guess, behind Captain Toad and behind Mario Kart 8, right?
On the Switch? No, it's behind Mario and Rabbids and Mario Odyssey.
Ah, there you go. Yeah. But
if I don't include Wii U ports. If I include Wii U ports, maybe top 10.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, Captain Toad, that's the game I'm going to be finishing up. Afterwards, I am going to be starting on Bloodstained Ritual of the Night when that comes in the mail for me in the next like a week and a half or so. But I had been going back to play Street Fighter 3 Third Strike on my PS4. I love that game, man. It's a game that I would see in magazines in my youth, and it was one of those games I played a lot on my PS2 back when they had their little Anniversary Collection discs and stuff. Basically, I had the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection on PS2 that included Street Fighter 2, the movie, and stuff like that. I remember that movie particularly for one cutscene, and that was kind of like notorious, where like there's the shower scene with Chun-Li, and you see like just like a snippet of her ass or something like that.
Yeah.
That was one of the most notorious things back then. From
watch that in slow motion.
Anyway, but what was funny is I just decided just to do 2 nights in a row where it's like, oh man, I don't really want to like play any other games on my PS4. I'm just gonna pop in some Street Fighter 3 Third Strike from the my PS4 Anniversary Collection disc, and it's like started playing as one of my favorite characters, Alex and stuff. And you know what? Started off this first playthrough like on Wednesday night, and it's like, man, I'm getting my ass kicked like routinely because I'm still getting reacquainted with the controls and that. I went through the entirety of the arcade mode, right, with the last character, Gil, which, honestly, he is probably one of the worst one of the worst end bosses to a fighting game that I've ever played. Not the worst, but one of the worst. But that's only because of his whole resurrection technique, where once you whittle down his life bar to 0, if his super meter is charged up, he can actually go and use his resurrection technique where he fills up a full bar. That's always fun in a fighting game, especially when you have next to no life, which that happened to me. But yeah, I played through it once, and then like the next night, I decided to play it even more, and I started getting better in terms of facing off against some fighters. But against the last person, against like that last character, Gil, I lost consistently to the point where it's like, you know what? I'm going to try something different right here. So what I end up doing is I end up trying to mix up my combos from like my light attacks were hitting faster, obviously, for inside. I basically, up until that point, was trying to use a bunch of like some light moves, but like more or less my medium and heavy techniques to see if I can whittle down his life bar quicker. But I just found out just relatively quick that no, this dude is just going to go forth and just try to spam a lot of these grabs, a lot of these freaking projectiles, a lot of these freaking like aerial attacks. So what am I going to do? I'm going to do some of the same kind of movements that he's doing. And so what I do is I mixed up my light and like light punches and light kicks while in the air, and then I alternated it between like my medium kicks and my medium punches and stuff. Do this quarter circle turn and stuff with the punch button to do like this boomerang kind of like shot. The thing about Alex in general from Street Fighter 3 is he has a special attack called the Boomerang Raid, where when you do like 2 quarter circles to a specific direction, he goes into like say a like 5 to 6 punch combination, and then he gets in close, grabs the opponent, and just German suplexes him. That's one of the reasons why I like playing the grapple characters, because they are usually like inspired by wrestlers, and I absolutely love it when like characters like say like Zangief or like Alex or like they're just slow kind of grapplers and stuff like that, but they're just more inspired by professional wrestling. Even like in Skull Girls or something like that, you have characters like Beowulf and stuff where like he uses like a chair to attack and this and that. But oh boy, I don't know what it is. It's like when it comes to certain games that you generally tend to go back to play and just enjoy yourself and stuff. That's kind of the same thing with me in Street Fighter 3. Because as a teenager, I absolutely just loved playing fighting games. I loved playing Street Fighter. I played bits of like Tekken here and there. Oh man, especially when Tekken 6 came out. Yeah, I pretty much completed that game from top to bottom. Even though the arcade modes, even though like the story mode sucked. Anyway. But other than that, though, that's pretty much what I've been playing.
Cool. Well, like Gable said at the top of the show, it's kind of a slow news week, which we're used to by with E3. You get a shit ton of news and then you get nothing for a few weeks, or very little. So we have a few smaller topics, but the big one, and we've done this in a long time. This is always my favorite one to do every month. It is the NPDs of May. So we haven't done this one in a little while. But we're going to go through the top 20 purchase games for May, so last month. So number 20 was Yoshi's Crafted World. 19 was Team Sonic Racing. 18, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. 17, Rainbow Six Siege. 16, Breath of the Wild. 15, Spider-Man. 14, Super Mario Bros. Deluxe. Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, sorry. 13, Call of Duty Black Ops 4. 12, Division 2. 11, Mario Kart 8. 10, NBA 2K19. 9, Minecraft. 8, MLB The Show. 7, Red Dead Redemption 2. 6, Smash Brothers Ultimate. 5, GTA 5. 4, Rage 2. 3 is Total War 3 Kingdoms. 2 is Days Gone. And number 1 is Mortal Kombat 11.
Oh, boy.
So some of the news came out with this is like one of the slowest months for game sales in May since like 1998, I want to say.
Well, like over 20 years. Interesting.
Yeah, and it sounds like a lot was chalked up, but like everything was down. Software sales, everything was down. You look at May. May's usually like it's kind of a month for big games. You don't. I mean, more recently you see stuff, but look this month. Or look at May. I think Total War and Rage 2 were like the only two big games that came out that month. Mortal Kombat 11 came out in April, as did Days Gone. But Days Gone came out, I think, like the 26th or something. So it was like the last week, I think, of April.
Yeah, so May was pretty much like a month where it was just wedged between a couple different releases. You had Days Gone like in April, and then like, what was the other game you just mentioned?
Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat 11 in April. Thank you. Yeah. And then you have this month here of June where you have like games like Super Mario Maker 2. We had like I think there was another big game that released this month too.
In June?
Yeah, I think so.
Was it really?
I'm not sure. I'm just trying to remember because I thought there was something else that released. Well, Bloodstain releases this month, but I don't think it was like.
Yeah, that's not gonna be. That's probably not gonna be a charter.
No,
because a lot of games don't include digital sales.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything.
Nah.
I don't know. I just kind of looking at this though, and I'm kind of surprised. Crafted World so far down already. But it came out. When did that come out? Was that March? That was March. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Came out the day I moved into this apartment. Remember that now. Remember being exhausted after moving all day and going because I hadn't changed my address yet. Going to my parents' house at like 10 o'clock at night to go grab it off the front porch to come home and play it for a little bit. But yeah, seeing that drop down number 20, kind of a bummer. But I think what really sticks out to me is Division 2 being number 12. That came out. It's been out for like 4 months now, but the figure Division probably would be one of the biggest selling games of the year in 2019. And to see that it's already dropped below games like Minecraft, NBA 2K, Mario Kart 8, GTA 5. Some of these games have been on the market for a long time. Mario Kart 8 for 2 years.
Oh my god.
Over 2 years.
Unless you're like, well, yeah, I think it's like getting close to about the 2-year mark, isn't it?
Yeah, for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe came out in April, I remember, of 2017. So yeah, it's kind of stunning to see how far that dropped already. I'm sure it's still selling super well overall, but a little surprised by that. Mortal Kombat 11 being, I think it's the most sold. It's the highest selling of games that come out in 2019. It's leading the year in sales, which shocks me. I wonder how much that has to do with the Switch. I'd love to see the Switch numbers on that game. And then Days Gone will be number 2. 2 months. I believe it was number 2 last month. I think the top 2 stayed the same. Mortal Kombat 11 being 1 and Days Gone being 2.
Yeah.
With April. So I'm surprised that the game came out with a mediocre reception, and to see it, and it's a PS4 exclusive. So and Rage 2 number 4 is a little surprising. GTA 5 though, number 5. What the hell, guys? We remember we were talking a few months ago about. I remember like GTA 5 like dropped down to like 16 or 17, and we're like, we are so close, guys, to this game being out of the top 20, and now it's in the top 5.
I think I understand why it's up that far, and that's because of price reductions for that game. Holy shit. The price reductions for GTA 5 being like $20 and below for the PS4 and Xbox One, it's actually skyrocketed that game back up in the top 5.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
it's funny.
Yeah. It's nuts. And also the fact that Red Dead Redemption 2 is number 7. GTA 5 is still outselling Red Dead Redemption 2. The game that came out in October.
That's hilarious.
It's supposed to be the game of the generation. I mean, I'm not trying to knock Red Dead Redemption 2, but it's shocking to see that. GTA 5 is probably the highest selling game of this generation, and it was a last gen game. So
yeah, it was a last gen game. It's from like 2013 all the way up till about now, and it's still consistently on the top 20 sellers list.
Yeah, it's consistently
that's just a testament of the game itself, you know.
Yeah, and Smash Bros. Ultimate number 6. Look at that, outsold Red Dead Redemption 2. So that's cool. I don't know, Gables, anything you want to add on that?
Well, honestly, not too much, other than the fact that it's kind of funny. GTA 5 is back up in the top 5, and like Rainbow Six Siege, you know, that's still up there. You know, that's interesting after it's like a relaunch and stuff, and then having like a whole bunch of like enjoyable elements of it. But other than that, though, I don't have really too much more to add.
Okay. Yeah. So kind of it's a weird month overall though, with everything going on. But May was a pretty down month, so it's one of those. It's pretty much you look at like a toss-up month, maybe, I guess, where anything can happen. But moving on to our next topic here. So I'm just calling this. I put it in our show notes as "Can't Catch 'Em All." So Gables, I'm gonna let you pretty much take this away. But Nintendo did announce, or Pokemon Company did announce that in Pokemon Sword and Shield, you will not be able to catch every Pokemon. So take it away.
All right. So initially, after the Nintendo Direct back on E3, there was a Treehouse Live, which involved very first thing being the Pokemon Sword and Shield gameplay. And so during the interview with Junichi Matsuda, one of the designers, creators, and stuff for this game, and one of the lead guys over at Game Freak, he pretty much stated that you would be able to basically catch Pokemon like in the Galar region, do this and do that and stuff, but when it comes to, say, transferring some of your old Pokemon from, like, say, Pokemon Home to the new games, the only Pokemon you can transfer from Pokemon Home to Sword and Shield are the ones that are only inside of the Galar Pokedex. So when he said that and later doubled down on that, saying the reasoning behind that is because they have now over 800 different Pokemon they want to go through. They pretty much don't want to do the extra work in terms of, like, this is pretty much my opinion, though. Pretty much they don't want to go through, like, the extra work and stuff of pretty much using every single animation, like, from the character sprites and stuff for these upcoming games because of time constraints and this and that. But yeah, after that announcement was made, the Treehouse Live, I was reading the news things on Twitter the day of, and I'm thinking, okay, why is Sword and Shield trending? And all of a sudden I see the whole backlash for all these longtime Pokemon fans that buy the games squarely to pretty much catch them all. Or, you know, just basically being completely upset. Which, to be perfectly honest with you, I understand completely how a lot of long-term Pokemon fans feel in regards to that, because let's say since Generation 3, you've been able to transfer your Pokemon from one generation to the next. So back when 2003, 2004, back when Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald were still a thing, you know, brand new, you were able to transfer those Pokemon up to the next generation. And from then on, transfer them again to the other generation, and so on and so forth. And so there are people that are angry at Game Freak and at Pokemon Company in general for this announcement because they're concerned that a lot of the Pokemon that they have played or have had for years will not be able to be transferred onto Sword and Shield so that they can go through and play through on the Switch versions of these Pokemon games and, able to enjoy some of the past creatures that they've caught and this and that. At the same time, though, here's the thing about it. With Pokemon Home, it kind of works kind of similar to Pokemon Bank, where it's kind of like a one-way transfer. So you can quintessentially transfer all these different Pokemon to, say, Pokemon Home, but you can't send them back. And so another issue that people are running across, like, say if they gone through and they have a bunch of Pokemon from, say, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee or Pokemon like Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, not being able to transfer them to the Galar region for Pokemon Sword and Shield because of the whole limitation aspect and stuff. Yeah, quintessentially, it's caused quite a stir in the Pokemon community in its entirety. I mean, personally, I can understand why Game Freak would go in that direction where they want to just focus on just the Galar region Pokedex in general, because obviously the main intent is to showcase the new creatures that are inside this game, introduce new elements, and also continue on with what's made their game popular to begin with, and quintessentially that's going out inside of this new world as a new trainer, catching different creatures and stuff, battling, playing, collecting, and then trading. At the same time, though, I feel upset about this decision that was made by Game Freak because in and of itself, it's defeating the core element of what makes the Pokemon games. Because when that franchise was introduced, it was with the moniker Gotta Catch 'em All. Which, case in point, this is going to be like the first Pokemon games coming out where you technically cannot catch them all because it's only limited to maybe 400, maybe 500 like creatures in general. So, needless to say, it is definitely like a kick in the ass or something like that. That even with games like Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, you were able to transfer your like every single like Pokemon that you had from previous gens onto it. It may not have registered every single one of them to the Pokedex, which I ended up finding out firsthand when I completed the Ultra Sun Pokedex earlier on this year. But I'm also kind of having the feelings where, I still do want to play Pokemon Sword and Shield. And it's not because of, like, say, the whole collecting aspects or something like that. No, it's more or less because of what I get out of playing the Pokemon games in general. What I most enjoy about them is going through the adventure, going through finding different creatures in order to experiment and go through the game my own way. And if that means collecting different creatures in certain parts where I would have like gone the opposite in a previous playthrough, I'll do that and see if I can find like a different type of element to better enjoy myself. The whole collecting aspect for me was kind of subsidiary. That was the last thing I would do. Like right after I've enjoyed like the story mode and like the different experiments and stuff like that. But honestly, Tyler, how would you feel like about that? Where if you're a Pokemon fan that's been playing for years and stuff, you have all these creatures. Say like you had maybe like case in point, like say you had like a couple friends or something traded creatures and stuff, and you kept them with them all these years and stuff, and then all of a sudden they're not included in the new Pokemon games because they're not inside of the Pokedex. Like, how would you feel roughly about that?
So I'll say this about it: it's definitely like I get like bouncing and everything. That's incredibly hard. I'm sure, especially with over 800 at this point. But they're adding so few at this point that maybe it should be a little easier. I don't know. I'm not a game designer, but I look at it like this for me personally. As someone I talk about a lot, like I love the first Gen 1, Gen 2. Dabble a little bit in the other gens, but it's definitely taken it from like this is a game that I was like excited for, but like I talk about like I still have reservations about like I know how I am with Pokemon games. Like I get fucking like can't wait to play them, and I jump into them, and after like 15 hours, I quit playing them. It's taken me from like I'm excited for it to like, but all with reservations to now I'm like, I mean I don't know how many's gonna be there guaranteed for like those Pokemon. How many of them are gonna be in there? But
They haven't stated yet.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole Pokedex stuff hasn't really been revealed yet of who's going to be in, who's not. But at the same time, we're getting a bunch of new creatures. They've showcased like 2 new ones, like at the Nintendo Direct, the last one. I think no. It was actually during the Treehouse gameplay where you have the electric corgi.
Never mind. Day one buy. I forgot about the electric corgi. Wooloo. How did I forget about Wooloo?
Oh yeah, the Wooloo the sheep. That was a funny meme going around.
Yeah, it's never stopping. I don't want it to stop. It's like the seal from Sun and Moon.
Oh, I love the animated GIF of like Wooloo and stuff like that. The Simpsons are like, they go through, they see Mareep, it's like, aw, and all of a sudden they see Wooloo, it's like, aw, and all of a sudden Mareep tries to go in front of them, and Homer just shoots him like, move you.
Oh man, I don't know. I have a feeling they're not going to tell us 100. They're going to tell us a lot of the Pokemon that are in it, but they're not going to tell us who's not in it. I don't think we're going to find out until the game comes out. So I feel like for me personally, this is a game I'm going to wait. This went from like a game I was going to buy probably at day one, with knowing my reservations. Despite the fact there's 6,000 awesome games coming out in November. Like every game I've ever wanted in my entire life is coming out in November. God, fucking, I'm getting mad again. Oh boy.
You're getting mad about all these game releases all at once where you had to spend like $300 just to keep up.
I've already pre-ordered them all. They're already bought. I just don't know how I'm going to play them all.
I just see you on game, like on the freaking day of those games releases, just like all of them are around your chair. You're like, with the play. Just freaking out.
God damn it.
Hyperventilating.
God damn it. That's going to be me. Oh my God. Star Wars fucking.
Then your freaking girlfriend's going to come in. It's like, Tyler, calm down. Here's your plastic bag. Okay. Oh God. That's not helping.
I'm just going to have like 50 like paper bags with the holes blown through them. Oh man. I'm so excited for November, but dreading November at the same time.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know what, though? Even with the Pokemon games and that little news announcement, it hasn't really deterred me from not wanting to play them, It's like, I want to play Sword and Shield when they come out. I mean, that's just me. In my personal opinion, even though it sucks that not all the Pokemon are going to be inside, be able to be transferred to that Sword and Shield from Pokemon Bank, but I want to still play because the world looks interesting. There's new mechanics. There's no Z moves or no Mega Evolution stuff, which kind of complicated things inside of the competitive Pokemon scene as well. But I just want to play a good Pokemon game on my Switch. That's basically what I want to play. And this is enough interest.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, if I was a huge Pokemon fan, I'd still be buying this day one for sure.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
But, yeah, I don't know. I just, for me, as a casual, I don't want to say casual, but somewhere between casual and big fan of these games, it's just kind of, I've lost some interest in it quite a bit. It's going to be it's going to wait and see approach now for me. But like I said, I have plenty of stuff to play in November, so it's not like I'm going to be bored.
Yeah.
But moving on to our next topic, this is also dealing with Nintendo. So, e.g., Aonuma. That one.
A.G. Aonuma.
Yeah, that guy. He could be a Pokemon for all I know. Anyways. So he did an interview with Kotaku, and they talked about Breath of the Wild 2. So the reason why Breath of the Wild 2 is actually happening is that they had too many ideas for new DLC. So initially they were coming up with ideas for more DLC for Breath of the Wild, which awesome, cool. And then it's so much stuff happened. It's so big that they decided to just make Breath of the Wild 2 essentially, and that a lot of developers of Nintendo have been inspired by Red Dead Redemption 2. So cool. I'm excited for that. If I'm
Interesting.
yeah. If I hear one time in this goddamn game that riding on the horse song, I'm gonna fucking scream though. I'll tell you that right now. If I hear riding on my horse, I'm gonna fucking scream. That's all I'm thinking about now whenever I hear about Redemption 2. Because that goddamn YouTube video. God, it's the worst. Fuck, I don't know how we got to that. I realize as we're recording, it's 10 o'clock at night on Friday night. I haven't ate today, and I've been drinking New Belgium's Ranger IPA, which is like 9% alcohol per beer.
Okay.
And I've had 2, and I'm a little buzzed. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie, guys. A little buzzed.
I'll tell you what, though, in terms of the Aonuma interview from Kotaku, honestly, it really doesn't surprise me that they had so many ideas in regards to what they wanted to include in with Breath of the Wild. Even with their DLC, that DLC was quality, just jam-packed with excellent stuff. From like the backstories with the different characters to like the whole dungeon stuff where you yeah. Basically, there's just what I'm trying to get is there was a bunch of awesome content in it. I still need to finish that content. I mean, freaking A, man. I love Breath of the Wild, but if I go back to it now, I am going to quite literally sink another probably 50 hours into it. I can feel it. I know for a fact that's going to happen. But I wanted to try to bring a little light on like some of the critiques in terms of like, say, the Breath of the Wild sequel. And more or less it's because of, like, maybe some, like, younger gamers or some probably don't understand, like, why would they go the route of, say, like, a sequel as opposed to, like, say, a full-on different Zelda game. Well, here's the thing, guys. Like, back in the day when game developers would go forth and release certain games, they would actually keep their same game engines that they've made for, like, maybe 4 or 5 years or something and just try to make another game on top using the same engine. Like, case in point. When Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time came out, and that was a huge success, Miyamoto, notoriously challenged the Zelda development team, including Eiji Aonuma, to basically make a Zelda game in a year's time. Like another Zelda game in a year's time. And what they basically did was use the engine from Ocarina of Time, and they included a gimmick of the 3-day mechanic, the 3-day, like, a day-night mechanic, in order to make this entirely new Zelda game, and quite honestly, it's one of the best Zelda games because of that, because it improved on things Ocarina of Time didn't have at the time, and it included some, like, darker tones, which, honestly, I'm getting kind of the same type of vibes from this whole reveal of the sequel for Breath of the Wild, like darker tones and stuff like that, but also the gameplay was, like, the whole element in fear, that whole element of atmospheric type of thing in Majora's Mask was completely different almost in terms of scope and scale as compared to, say, Ocarina of Time. At the same time, for Breath of the Wild 2, I mean, I can understand some people's complaints and say, with the Zelda games and stuff, they pretty much go forth and they create different Zelda games each time, new engines, new this and new that. But how I'm seeing it is, the development team, they created that engine. They took, about 5 years to make this thing for Breath of the Wild. They had to pretty much had to work incredibly hard to make sure things were tweaked, make sure things were perfected, in order to not only have things ready for, the Wii U's release, that copy's release and stuff, but also the Switch's release. But what I'm saying is, this could be potentially a better game than Breath of the Wild. It definitely has that potential. From the initial trailer, I could feel like there's possibly some more darker tones that could be underlined, especially from the initial trailer where you just see, what looks like Ganon's corpse or something being reanimated, and all of a sudden you have, this dark matter just spewing up from the Hyrule Castle. It just makes me more excited just to see more in terms of maybe, the possibilities. Maybe Link isn't a playable character. Maybe it's Zelda that's a playable character. I mean, that's been tossed around quite a bit, because there are some people that kind of want that.
I feel like we're forgetting something here.
Really?
What if Tingle is a playable character?
Oh, God. Oh god, that'd be like the biggest swerve in Zelda history. You go
Ding
forth, and
dong.
you start going forth, and instead of like Ganon being resurrected, it's freaking Tingle that's being
Yes,
resurrected.
dude. What if the red balloon is what makes the Hyrule Castle float?
A bunch of the freaking
Just saying, man. No one thought of that. I did though.
like Kalukala Limpa. All of a sudden, you just see the castle just fly away.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Or even better yet, it's like a couple hours in the journey and they just pull a complete like Metal Gear Solid 2 thing where it's like you have
Oh,
Link
no.
playable and it's like of a certain scenario, all of a sudden it's like it just switches to Tingle in a cutscene after Link gets captured or some shit. And it's like, well, here you go. Now you're playing as Tingle, the 30-year-old person that still believes in fairies.
Yes. I'm in. 100%.
Could you just see the backlash on places like so like N4G and for Reddit? Just as soon as people get that game and there's absolutely no footage of this particular, it's just like the first couple hours of the game just like being looped over and over by Nintendo, showcasing this and that, and when people buy it and get it home, you know, all these embargoes of reviewers. I can just see something like that actually happening, right? Where all these embargoes on viewers, you do not say this section is gamers gonna find out on game day. And then all of a sudden they just go stream as like the third hour hits and they pass that one part where Link gets captured and he's like, you have Tingle just like floating up into like, floating up in the scene. Well, it's my turn now. I would absolutely just pay money just to see gamers just lose their shit because of how irate. Like, what the fuck? What is this? It's not Link. Where's my Link?
I'm in.
Is he dead? Am I transformed into this dude? It's like, and his main attack is just try just to evade Guardians with his fucking balloon, and they're like laser beams are just trying to do this and do that. And so you just have Tingles like, wow, what? Just have his balloon being popped over and over. Like, say, for example, he just goes over a lake, tries to collect, like, a little bits. Like, say he's trying to get to, like, one of those dungeons, right? In the overworld of Breath of the Wild, you know how that was? And all of a sudden, you just see, like, a guardian just, like, shoot a laser beam, just targeting on him, just, like, do that. And all of a sudden, you just see him flying, like, screaming all the way down until he hits, like, one of the freaking dungeon doors. He just comes up and he just looks around. It's like, he just has to inflate his balloon or something.
You know, Gables,
Oh my god.
I was just trying to make a stupid joke, but you completely sold me on this game.
Dude, oh my god. I just started thinking of Metal Gear Solid while just talking about the sequel to Breath of the Wild, and it's like, oh my god, the two things hit, and you bring up the fucking thing about Tingle. I'm
Yes.
like, well, this is gonna be a freaking Tingle Gear Solid type of
stupid.
episode.
This is so dumb. Well, this,
Oh my gosh,
this
it's so dumb, but it's fucking amazing in its own point.
oh my god, everything about this is dumb. But oh man, I'm in. This is.
I can just see like freaking gaming reports like from YouTubers like, oh, Nintendo does the biggest troll of all time with the new Zelda game, and it's just like a big old like thumbnail of just like Tingle or something like that with his face smushed against the screen.
What if it's just like Lion King 1.5, but it's
Oh.
Breath of the Wild 1.5 from Tingle's perspective?
Oh.
I'm in.
Oh no.
I'm in.
You just see him in the corner just like drawing out some maps and he just sees Link going through, just floating in somewhere, and all of a sudden you just see Link just getting bombarded with fucking like boulders or some shit.
I can't wait.
It's like, oh, I gotta save him.
Oh man, I am in. Oh, let's.
Or better yet,
Nintendo.
it's like, oh my god. Or better yet, it's like he just is floating up, like Tingle's like flying, like minding his own business, and all of a sudden you just see Link right down there on the ground, just using that magnetism thing in order to float these big old, his platform he's standing on, like just trying to fly all the way through the air or something like that into the next area. So you just see Link finally finishing up, and he just launches himself through the air with this big old metal platform that he just got through setting, and all of a sudden he just clips Tingle's balloon as he goes on the way by. It's like, ah! Right into the fucking lake.
Oh man. Please. Please. Please.
Weekend at Tingles. Anyway. That should be the sequel, man. It's like, if it's like a Lion King 1.5, this is like a Breath of the Wild 1.5. It's like Weekend at Tingles.
Please, Nintendo. Just give me this game. Just cancel Breath of the Wild 2. Give me Weekend at Tingles.
That should be the episode.
That's the episode title. I'm typing it now.
The name of this episode is like Zelda 1.5 Weekend at Tingles.
Oh my god. Yes. We have peaked, guys. The show has peaked.
Oh my god. And we thought that the freaking Kerbo, like, last thing was a peak right there.
Yeah,
like,
Kerbo.
Oh my god.
I forgot about oh my god, Kerbo's First Blood.
If it was Kerbo's First Blood, it was the whole, like, freaking, like, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and the Mortal Kombat DLC shit. And now it's fucking Tingle being a surprise twist in the sequel to Breath of the Wild.
Oh my god. Oh, this show's so dumb. I love it.
But it's some good shit.
It's good. It just, oh my god. And here we were thinking this was going to be a boring show. It's the dumbest thing we've ever done. Weekend at Tingles.
Oh my god, fucking Weekend at Tingles. I can just see you just going to sleep tonight. All of a sudden, you're dreaming you're playing Breath of the Wild, and all of a sudden you just see like Tingle out in the corner right there, just staring at you and just coming closer. It's like, I made you a map.
Could Breath of the Wild 2 be the greatest game of all time and also the most disappointing game of all time? It does have Tingle. Is that a thing like that?
Oh shit, my neck's getting sore.
My jaw hurts from laughing.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Oh god, I think that should do it right there.
Yeah.
Let's end it right here because I can't top that.
Yeah. Weekend at Tingles, everybody. Oh man, what would be the song he listens to on his headset that makes him keep floating?
Oh my god. Oh man, could you just imagine just pure just adventurous type of thing? You know, Tingle's just flying by, writing up his maps, and on his headphones that he's listening to, he's just listening to a bunch of just hardcore gangster rap or some shit.
He's just fucking listening to the fucking Tupac.
He's like fucking listening to Tupac, and he's all like just happily drawing his map, and it's like, come with me, Hail Mary, run quick see. He's just like smug grinning ear to ear.
I always thought Tingle was more of a Chumbawamba fan, but little did we know he was a hardcore gangster rap guy.
Because you know about that Tingle, man, he's cold-blooded.
Oh, ooh, baby, he likes it raw. Oh, man. Oh boy. We're dumb. This is so dumb.
Oh my god, this is a freaking epic Legend of Zelda rant.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't have anything to add now. I was gonna have like a serious discussion about Breath of the Wild 2, but fuck it, it's done. Okay, guys. Weekend at Tingles. I'm just picturing him with headphones on and his balloon floating around.
And what, those freaking dark shaded glasses on as well. Like fucking Weekend at Bernie's or something like that. But no, could you just imagine just the premise of this Link like accidentally killing Tingle and all of a sudden it's like just accidentally killing him and just starting to spruce up his corpse, the glasses and the freaking thing. It's like, hey look Zelda, he's alive, look. Dude just swailing his arms around.
That would be great. If Zelda and Link were like they kill Tingle and he's like the mayor of like Hyrule or something, and they have to like they're the two that pretend they're still alive the whole time. That's the whole game.
He just straps into freaking like this horse or something like that. And he just buys his flail like.
I figured it out, Gables. I figured it out. That's why they went into the tomb to look for Ganon, because they killed Tingle and they got to figure out Ganon's soul's down here. We could bring him back to life. We figure out that out. We can bring Tingle back to life. That's the game. That's the story. We figured it out. That's the whole game. Like, bring back Ganon, save the world by bringing back Tingle. That's the whole game. Oh man, God, yes, give me this game, please. I will. You can kill me as soon as I finish the game. Just let me have this. Let me die. After playing Weekend at Tingles. God. Oh boy. But yeah, Wow, Gables.
You're telling me.
The fuck just happened there for the last 10 minutes? Oh man. Okay, we're gonna wrap this up. Because there's no, we can't come back from that.
We're fucking exhausted, and Tyler's a little bit drunk, so this is gonna.
Yeah.
This was definitely a recipe for amazing, like awesome stuff.
Oh man, that's good. That was good. We needed that. But thank you guys so much for listening. I've been your host, I've been Tyler. If you want to hear more from us, we have a Facebook page and group, Junk Dressers Podcast. Like and join us on there. On Twitter at Junk Dressers Pod. Follow us on there. On iTunes, Junk Dressers Podcast. You give us a 5-star review, subscribe, leave us a little comment. Appreciate if you did that. Twitch.tv/Colonel Gables. Check him out over there. Follow him, please. Send a friend request, please, as well. And then also on Spotify, you can follow us on there. Or just subscribe. It's one of the two. I'm pretty sure it's follow. And if there's a review system, please review us. Give us the highest number you can possibly give us. Excuse me. And then also on YouTube, Drunk Dash Nerds. Subscribe, please. Give us a big thumbs up and leave us a comment on our shows. I really appreciate it if you check us out in all those places. Tell a friend. Once again, I've been your host. I was Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables. So until next week, everyone, have yourself a good week. Play some fun games. And most importantly of all, Weekend at Tingles.
Weekend at Tingles.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.
See ya.